Hi, this is a track guide of TmT-Jaffa made by Saffron. The world record is 34.99 and my best time is also 34.99. So as far as I know, I'm tied with the world record on this track, as I know both Robin and Troll also got the same time as me. So the way this track guide will work is that I will start going through the replay slowly and go through the details, and then I will also play the replay in normal speed afterwards. Okay, let's start. So the map begins here with a pretty steep turn to the right. Just go quite a lot to the left before entering this turn so that you get a short line through the turn, and that will save you some time. Then for this part, you don't really have to drive over the borders here. I would actually not recommend doing that in matches, as it is pretty risky and doesn't really save that much time. And following that, we have a long drift in an uphill to the right. So it's all about your position here, as you want to avoid going too wide through this turn. That will make you lose a lot of time. But you also want a lot of speed through this turn because it's a pretty long stretch following this turn here. So just try to time it by drifting a lot to the left um, coming into this turn, and then release the drift at the right spot so that you get a short line. So I release it around here. But it's pretty hard to get this timing perfectly, so if needed, adjust your line by either tapping the brake or releasing the acceleration. Alright, so as mentioned, we have a pretty long stretch here, and then a drift to the left will follow. It's pretty tight around this part, so to get the best results, you need to go as much to the right as you can, and start to drift on the border here. And then, like in the previous turn, try to go a bit wide at first, and then release the drift at the right spot to get a good line through the turn with a lot of speed. So don't drive over the border here, go for a bit of a wider line. If done right, you will go pretty close to the wall here, indicating that you have a lot of speed. So then we have a brief transition and then back to the road again. Since we have a turn to the right just after the transition, you want to start your drift around entering the road, and then hold this drift until you reach the beginning of the turn, and then release the drift for a little while. So I release it here again, and then so that you go a bit wider through this turn, because it's pretty steep and you need a good angle through the turn to get it the best way. Then shortly after, you start tapping the brake or tap the gas to adjust your line a bit so that you end up right. And when you feel like you are in the right spot, release the drift and just drive full speed here. If needed, that you have too much speed through this small downhill, just release the acceleration slightly to keep your grip on the road. Coming up is a mini transition followed by a long turn to the left. This turn here is very important to get a lot of speed out of because we have a very long stretch afterwards, and you can get a lot of speed through it, and that's going to save you a lot of time. So it's very important to do this turn good. So just begin by turning left while driving over the transition here so that you land into what I like to call a natural drift. Then at around here, you want to start braking to extend the drift and hold on for it for a little while. Then release it at the right time and just keep turning left. So up until this point, I was actually driving equally with the world record, but here at this part, the world record got much more speed than me, so he went much more wider here. At least Robin did in his replay. So he got much more speed and got a small lead on me because of that. Because as you can see, we have a very long stretch here. So coming up next is a uphill, and it's crucial here that you drive over this uphill diagonally so that you keep your grip and thus your speed as well. So the more speed you have, the more diagonally you have to drive over this part. And following this, it's last turn of the map. Now at this point, because I didn't get as much speed over the long stretch, I'm a couple of hundreds behind the world record. However, the last part of the map I do much better and I catch up completely. So basically the last turn is like two left turns in a row, you could say. Start your drift pretty early around here, and then just try to stay as much to the left as you can. The world record goes for a wider line, which is safer, and I would actually recommend doing this in matches, since you can quite easily misjudge these last couple of turns. So just before passing this first turn here, release your drift for a moment. So I release it here, and then just make a small tap on the brake a couple of milliseconds later here, Then this small bump coming up here will continue the drift for you without you having to do anything, which will save you some speed. As soon as you pass the bump, tap the brake once again for the last time and try to go a bit to the right here so that you get a right angle for the last turn. So I really risked this a lot. I drove over the borders here and saved a lot of time because of that. But I would definitely recommend going a bit wider through this turn and then also get maybe a bit more speed for this long stretch here, which isn't really that much slower and much safer. So yeah, then we just drive into the finish. And that concludes my track guide for this map, and I hope it could help you some. Now I will show the replay normally as well. Thanks for watching.